Hey, Mass Houses Realtors, there have been some changes to like the agency disclosure and things like that. So this video is just going to go over a little bit of that. The real estate agency disclosure and election form was reviewed by a work group, and it was and a revised version of the form was just recently released. The main revision to the real estate agency disclosure and election form is the addition of a new section that emphasizes information regarding broker compensation that is already contained in other Arizona realtor forms. Specifically, it states that broker compensation paid by a client is always negotiable, and the amount chosen is documented in an employment agreement after discussion. The new language also states that if a seller enters into a listing agreement, the amount of buyer broker compensation to be offered is also negotiable and agreed upon after a discussion with their broker. The new section basically restates the same information contained in the Arizona Realtors employment agreements, that broker compensation is not set by anyone and is negotiated solely between the broker and their clients. The agency disclosure form remains an agency election form. The sentence, "This document is not an employment agreement," was moved to the top of the form just under its title. The new section regarding broker compensation is also introduced by the sentence that agency election does not establish broker compensation. Finally, a broker representing both the seller and buyer was formally named as a limited representation broker for consistency. A redline version of the agency disclosure form can be found on aaronline.com. Here's some frequently asked questions. Why is broker compensation being discussed in an agency form? The answer is a portion of the public may still fail to recognize that broker compensation is negotiable, even though such information is conveyed to them both verbally and in writing. Although employment agreements clearly state compensation is not set by anyone and negotiable between the parties, the work group felt it important to reiterate this fact. The agency form was chosen because it is typically signed early in the process by both buyers and sellers. Question 2. What information should agents share with their clients when discussing the revised agency disclosure form? Their employment contract and compensation? The answer is agents should make it clear to client that the amount of compensation is negotiable. The amount of compensation set forth in an employment agreement should be documented only after discussion with their client has taken place and an agreement on compensation has been reached. Seller agents should also discuss the seller's various options for offering compensation to the buyer's agent and why it may be advantageous to do so. Again, seller agents should make it clear that there is no set or established amount of compensation to be offered to the buyer's agent, and it is therefore up to the seller to determine the amount. Question 3. Because broker compensation is negotiable, does this mean an agent has to lower the amount of compensation they are seeking? Answer: no. The 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution protects people's rights to refuse to work unless the terms of employment are acceptable to them. Question 4. Does this mean the seller's agent is obligated to offer the amount of buyer's agent compensation determined by the seller? The answer: yes. If the agent accepts the employment of the seller, compensation is always negotiable and this decision belongs to the seller. And if you go on AAR Online, they have other resources available to discuss this kind of thing. There's a link here for how realtors should navigate the new commission landscape and a video on how to explain real estate compensation to clients. So AAR Online is a valuable tool. So if you feel like taking a look, it also has all the forms that are in Transaction Desk. So sometimes in Transaction Desk you want to just go open a form and it kind of forces you to open a file or do certain things you don't want to do. In here you could just click it open, take a look at it, review it, and then close it. That's aaronline.com. Okie dokie. Talk to you later.